Hi, my name is Heather Havenwood, and I am super excited to be a part of this Women's Leadership Virtual Summit 2016. And I'm doing this presentation the day after Election Day. And it's been a whirlwind for women this last year. So I'm really excited to be part of this Women's Leadership Virtual Summit for 2016, because 2017 for women's leadership is going to be amazing. So my name is Heather Havenwood, and today I'm going to share a very personal story from bankruptcy to sexy boss. I have a book out called Sexy Boss. It's really about my story, about how failure was the gift of a lifetime to me. And you're probably thinking, what are you talking about? I'm here in 2016. I now live in Austin, Texas, in a beautiful condo and great Lexus outside. But that was not always the case. Actually, I had huge success when I was in my 20s and then had a huge, massive failure in my early 30s. And it really took me years to overcome that and figure out the art and science of success and failure. And I'm going to share this extreme lesson that I have learned. And I hope that you take notes, and I hope you really listen to my personal story, because I honestly want to share with you through this process. I learned how to be a leader. I learned how to be a leader with myself. And I think that's really the key piece. So again, my name is Heather Havenwood. Thank you for this opportunity to be part of Women's Leadership Virtual Summit. All right, so what I'm going to talk about is my 3 actions that it took me from going bankrupt, a bankrupt girl, to a sexy boss, and how you can use these same exact actions to move you from stuck to success. And that's really a key piece. But before we get started, I want to tell you a little bit about me. My name is Heather Havenwood. I have a book out called Sexy Boss, how the female entrepreneurs are beating the big boys while changing the rule book for money, success, and even sex, and how you can too. And part of this is my story, because back in 2005, 2006, I built a business from $0 to $1 million in 2005, and it was going phenomenal. I had a business partner. I was behind the scenes. He was the front. I was building, I was supporting him, right? I was the support, a madman, the managing of all the different projects, really having him be great. And women, we do that a lot. We lead from behind on multiple levels as a woman in a marriage, or as a woman in a household, or with our children. We just do so much of that. We know how to lead from behind and have other people shine. That's exactly what I was doing. I was leading from behind and having him shine. And we went from $0 to $1 million in 1 year. And this is 2005. And then one day I walked in the office from being gone at a 2 or 3 day marketing seminar, and everything was gone, meaning the merchant accounts were flipped, the bank accounts were emptied, and I still had all the debt. And I literally got moved into foreclosure, triggered, as they call it, into foreclosure within 2 months. And I had to file bankruptcy within the year. And I was wiped out. I mean, no kidding, wiped out. And I remember talking to a dear friend of mine, Alex Mendozian, and he reached out to me, and I was through my tears. He said, one day you're going to share your story. And I'm pretty much sure I said some nasty words to him and maybe some cussing of like, no way am I going to share this personal story of this, because up until that point in my life, I'd always been a huge success. I went into corporate America at an extremely young age, at the age of 22, 21. I went into business to business sales, which they laughed at me. They told me that I would be a cute customer service girl, but they said, no, I want to be with the big boys. And they laughed and giggled. And I think my manager put a bet against me. And I was there for 4 years. And that was a long time for that kind of company. And I was there, and my last year there, I was number 1 in sales. This 25-year-old girl, number 1 in sales out of the entire country, out of all the business-to-business sales reps from New York, Chicago, LA, and I was in this little town called Fort Worth, Texas, and I was beating people in Dallas, and that was unheard of. And so with that process, I was very successful. And then I went on to the seminar industry, where I started traveling the country, teaching people how to buy and sell houses, encouraging them to be entrepreneurs at a young age. I was just this empowerment queen out there speaking and helping people start businesses. I was so happy, and I was always successful. I had that feeling that I was always successful, and there was a huge ego in that, because I thought, everything I touch turns to gold, and if I work hard enough, I'll always make it happen. And so here I am, I'm close to 30 at this point, and there's this huge hit, and I really didn't know what to do. And so this book that was released in 2013 is really sharing my heart and sharing my journey of how I moved from what I would call a witch with a B in life, because I thought that's how I need to be in business, to truly understanding what it means to be a businesswoman and a sexy boss. And that's my story. The book is, and I highly suggest you grab it. It just came out actually on a physical form. And I remember when I did the book, when I came out with the book, and I want to share this piece, is that I wrote the book and had it out in 90 days from start to finish, including my audiobook. And someone said, "Are you going to do a big Amazon launch?" And I said, "No, this book is for me, and it's for one other person in the world." What I mean by that is my goal was that if one woman in the world read it, no matter her age, and she said, "Wow, that really makes a difference for me," I won, right? I won. It's a bestseller in my book. And what's interesting is that 3 years later, early 2016, did it actually become what I call Amazon bestseller. But I was way more proud of that because I didn't push it. It was natural. Like, it just became that because people started to actually really enjoy the story. So I'm really proud of that book. And it really is the essence of me transforming, that butterfly that transformed me into a boss of my life, a sexy boss of my world, and a leader. And that's what this is about, leadership. So let's get clear on actions. Okay. You can always check me out at heatherhavenwood.com. I'm a business coach. I'm a businesswoman. I own 4 businesses online. And at the end of the day, I am a businesswoman, and it's time we got down to business. So that's what this is all about. Okay. Action 1, get clear. Okay. Now, first of all, you're thinking, duh, this is challenging. This is a challenge. It was a challenge for me because at the end of when I was, there was this point, right? The house was gone, the bankruptcy was complete, and I was just sitting there literally on a Marco Island in the middle of an island thinking to myself, what do I do now? And I was swirling, you know what I mean? After some kind of tragedy or a breakup or a divorce, there's this piece that just, you start spinning emotionally. What do I do? Where do I go? Who do I be? Who am I? There's a break in identity. I'm not a therapist, but that's what I felt like. There was a break in identity for myself, right? I really identified with a particular world, and that world was kind of shattered, and that world was kind of broken because that company was over. And it was hard for me to get clear on who I was. And so this is my first life rule I learned. This rule has not only been a turning point for my life, but it's no kidding been a rule that I apply to everything I do. Now, what I want you to understand about this rule is when I got this rule, and I call it a rule, it's not a lesson, it's a rule. It's something to live by. It's a value system. It's a rule. I was in Marco Island, living in Marco Island, and my friend, dear mentor and friend, Richard Flint, asked me to come to East Florida to have dinner with him. Of course, he paid. I didn't have any money. So he's paying for this nice dinner, and then he gives me this amazing gift. Like, that's just like, double, triple gift. And he says to me, I want you to live by this rule. And here's the question. It's like a question you ask yourself. Does this feed your confusion or strengthen your clarity? Does this feed my confusion or strengthen my clarity, right? Asking myself. And this particular question, while I'm sitting there having a steak dinner with him and no money to my name, literally he gave me $20 so that I had the gas to go back to West Florida because I didn't have any money. I was broke. I looked at him like, I don't even know where to start with that. So he goes, start with the simplest things, down to eat that chocolate cake or not, down to have that conversation with that friend or not, down to what am I going to do in the next 20 minutes that's going to create clarity for myself? Or if someone asks you to go to an event or a mastermind, does it create confusion or strengthen your clarity? Doing this virtual summit, does it feed my confusion or strengthen my clarity? Doing a podcast, and I started a podcast this year called The Win. Did it feed my confusion or strengthen my clarity? And you'll know in the moment, taking that job, does it feed your confusion, strengthen your clarity? going out with that person or continuing in this relationship? Does it feed your confusion or strengthen your clarity? You can put this to everything in life, down to business, down to finances, down to relationships, down to business opportunities, whatever it is, because our world, especially an entrepreneur, things come at us and it can cause a lot of confusion in our brain. And when we are confused, we're at a loss of power. And when we're at a loss of power, we're not making any money. Okay? So here's the opposite. When we're clear, we have power. When we have power, we can go into action. When we can go into action, we can make money. Right? So you want to stay in clarity. And so for myself, back in 2007, when I got this rule, I remember just even asking the question, I would break down in tears because I was just swirling in my head. I had no direction in my life, as they call it, right? And from coming someone who's so type A personality, coming with no direction in my life was mind-boggling. So this particular question, people ask me all the time, what got you out of the bankruptcy? This question. This question has changed my life. I ask this question to everything I do. Okay. And I really want you to take on this life role. So write it down. Does this feed my confusion or strengthen my clarity? All right. Action number 2, clear and release, not catch and release, which is like a fish, right? It's clear and release. What I mean by that is getting clear on something, desiring something, and then let it go. And then just focus on the actions that need to happen to make it happen. Okay. So, we just finished an election literally less than 24 hours ago. What an amazing clarity for both candidates. Okay. Which is getting clear on what they want, then letting go and being attached to that and just doing what needs to get done to do it. So that at the end of the win or quote unquote, we call it the loss, both won. Both really won the clarity and the ability that they got their voice out and their message out to the world. They did. Both of them won. And so are you doing that in your business? And that's what I had to do, right? So here's what happened. I'm here in Marco Island. I tried being a waitress. I tried all kinds of different things. And I kind of woke up one day and I really got that who I am as an entrepreneur, like who I am as a businesswoman. Now, even though I'm sitting there in Marco Island, I'm completely, I don't have any money. I don't have a job. I don't have a business. I knew who I am was a businesswoman and who I am as an entrepreneur. That was the first shift. And so I got clear on that. And so the first thing I did was, because I took on a mentor of mine said to me, you're not a tree you can move. It's called U-Haul. And so I said, well, I know there's one action step I can do. I don't know what that business is. I don't know what's going to come from, but I'm going to do one thing. And that one thing is I said, I'm going to move to an area that is entrepreneurial friendly and surround myself with other entrepreneurs. And I'll come from there. So I did. I moved to Austin, Texas, where I am today. I had no idea what I was going to do. I had no idea if I was going to get a job or start a business or anything. I just said, I'm not a tree I can move. And that's an action step. And that's what I got clear on. All right. So here is my life rule. Number 2, you're writing this down because these are critical. It was millions of dollars that cost me these life rules, and I'm giving them to you for free. So take them and don't underestimate the value. All right. Here is the little life lesson. Never keep anyone in my life that's not part of my fan club. Or to you, never keep anyone in your life that it's not part of your fan club. Ooh, this includes family. Now, we're coming up on the holidays, right? We're talking November 2016. Got my glasses on. And let me explain this to you a little bit, because this was a hard one for me. I'm a loyalist when it comes to family. I'm a loyalist when it comes to relationships. So here's what my mentor said. He said, imagine you're on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. You're on Bourbon Street and everyone in your life is there. Coworkers, acquaintances, business associates, family, cousins, mom, dad, sister, brothers, significant others, exes, whatever, okay? Yoga instructors, they're all there. And they're either in one or two places. They're either A, they're on the balcony. You ever been to Bourbon Street or seen clips of it? On the balcony, and they're screaming, "Yay! Go Heather! You rock! You're amazing! I support you! You're awesome!" And they're screaming to you from the top, saying, "I love you! You're amazing! I support you." Or they're in the gutter and they're nipping at your heels. And they're in one or two places. Everyone in your life is in one or two places. Now, you've got to visualize it, and you can't place them there. You have to allow energetically a little bit, allow them to show up. Because sometimes what happens is the most closest people in our lives, we really want to place them up there in the balcony, and we know they're really nipping at your heels. For whatever reason, their own stuff, right? You can't make them like you or can't make them like your business idea. At the end of the day, family is family. People who support you and fan club is very different than family. So I want you to really get who and where is what, right? So just because a family member is not in your family doesn't mean you're never going to talk to them again, okay? What that means is maybe you just don't share with them that idea. Maybe you just don't say, "Hey, let me tell you about this great business idea I'm doing." Maybe keep that to yourself. Maybe only share that with a support member. I remember telling this story at my event, Success Magnet Seminar, with John Carlton, John Benson, Joe Polish, and Joe Sugarman, and me on stage in October of 2013. I remember sharing the story about I no longer asked people permission if my idea was great. And that became a shift in my life. That's when I wrote the book, Sexy Boss. Because the moment I started asking people, "Hey, do you like this book?" They give me their opinion versus, "This is the book I'm writing. This is the journey I'm writing about. And this is the title." They go, "Okay, great." Right. And that shift of not asking permission to do a project or to be successful was a huge shift for me. And this is part of it. Never keep anyone in life that's not part of my fan club. Okay. Action 3. There's only 3 actions here. And again, I really want to share. This is about sharing with you what brought me out of nothing. What I mean nothing, let me give you a full brink of that. I lost my house, so that was gone. So no equity. It's like I got to sell it and take any equity out of it. Done. It was upside down. It was in Florida, right, in 2006. So it was upside down. Bankruptcy, you can't keep one credit card. You got to wipe it out. Everything's wiped out. I had me and my car and my dog and a cell phone bill. That's all I had. I'm pretty sure I didn't pay for car insurance because I couldn't afford it. And I remember one time that the only money I had was $10. I didn't have a bank account, didn't have a debit card, didn't have a credit card. I had nothing. And I had $10 to my name at one point. And I thought, how am I going to get, what am I going to do? And the thing that started the process, not easily, was getting fully responsible that I placed myself there. Oof. And one of the life lessons is I'm exactly in my life where I want to be. That particular lesson, when my mentor looked at me and said, "You are in your life exactly where you want to be." I'm like, "No, that's not true. I want to be here. I want to be there." He's like, "No, you're where you're at because it's exactly where you want to be." That was a hard swallow. But the moment I started to swallow the responsibility of the failure is when I'm able to then take responsibility for the success. And there was this moment where I'm with one of my mentors, and he says to me, I'm bawling my eyes out, by the way. I'm sitting on by the couch. He's on the couch, and I'm sitting on the floor, and I'm just crying immensely. Poor me. And he gives me a pen and a piece of paper, and he goes, "I want you to write everything that I say to you." I'm like, "Okay." And he said, I'm like, Heather, give myself full responsibility to fail, full permission to fail. I could barely write it. I'm like in my tears. I'm like barely writing it. And he said, the moment you give yourself full permission to fail, Heather, is the moment you give yourself full permission to succeed. You cannot have one without the other. Think about sports. Think about the Cubs. Think about football. Look at any athlete. They cannot succeed without giving themselves full permission to not hit the ball, not find the ball, not catch the ball. They have to give yourself full permission to fail and succeed at the same time, so that when they win, it's the sweetness of it. So that's about getting responsible. Life lesson of this is this. Ooh, this was a hard one. I do not lose control of my life, of my power. I choose to give it away. Ooh, again, here I am, completely broke. And my mentor looks at me and goes, you lost control of your power in your life. You chose to give it away. You chose to give it away. You chose to give away your power. You chose to give away your life, Heather. I think I wanted to scream at him. I'm probably sure I did or cried or one of the two, or screamed, cried, one of those. Oof. Let me say it again. I do not lose control of my power or my life. I choose to give it away. So what that means is I control my power in my life. I control my power in my life. At all times, I choose to give it away. I choose to take it back. It's juicy, right? It's so juicy. This is about leadership of your life, being the boss of your life, owning who you are in your life. Because our life is very connected to our relationships, our friendships, as well as our entrepreneurial lives and businesses. They're very connected. So I touched on this earlier. Another bonus life lesson, which is giving yourself 100% license to fail. 100% license to fail. When you give yourself permission to fail, it's when you give yourself permission to succeed. So I want to kind of close this up and share with you, here's some 3 chapters of my audiobook, Sexy Boss. You can text the word sexy to 72,000. You get 3 free chapters of my audiobook. And I want to share with you about that. When I did my book, Sexy Boss, How the Empowerment of Women is Changing the Rule Book for Money, Success, and Sex, from concept to completion, I did it in 90 days. It's a very good book. It's literally my life story, the journey of a sexy boss. And I also did my audiobook in that same time. And I remember I reached out to a professional here in Austin. I walked in and I said, hi, my name is Heather. I have this book. I'm an author and I want to create my own audiobook. And he just kind of giggled at me like, I don't think you know what you're doing. There's a reason why there's professional voiceovers and you're not one of them. And I'm like, no, I really want to do this. It's my journey. It's my story. I'm doing this. He goes, well, I don't know if I want to take you on. I'm a little concerned. So I had to think about it. And so he thought about it. He's okay, I'll take it on, but here's what we'll do. It took me longer to do the audiobook than he actually wrote the book. Here's why. I can only do it once a week, 2 hours a day, 2 hours and 1 day per week. And I would go in and I'm here at this, this recording studio and I have headphones on, and if I missed a the or an or wha or what or why, he would yell at me in the ear. Do it again. And so when you're doing your own audiobook, is it not only your work, you're judging, assessing, you're kind of editing at the same time, but then you have to act like and sound like you're not exhausted. And so I'm really proud the fact that I did my own audiobook and it's my own story and my own work. I'm very proud of that. And so you can only get it on Audible. There's no other location to get it. I don't sell anywhere else. It's through Audible at full price. They don't do discount prices either. So I'm just giving this to you as 3 free chapters of my audiobook, Sexy Boss. You can text the word sexy to 72,000, go through that process. And make sure you reply yes after you receive the first text response. So I want to kind of close this Women's Leadership Virtual Summit with just a story. And people always ask me, what do you do now? I have a lot of businesses, e2lab.com, skinnybeam.com, heatherhavenwood.com, sexybossinc.com. And I also have a dating business where I teach men how to communicate with women. And people ask me all the time, why did you start the dating business? Why did, what business did you start after the bankruptcy? And I started the dating business with men because I was really low in confidence. I had a skill set of marketing and sales, but I didn't know what to sell and I didn't know what to market. And someone said to me, well, do something that no one could ever question you on, which is how to communicate to women, and you teach men. I thought, wow, I could do that, right? So that is what I started in 2008-9 here in Austin, Texas. And that is what really brought me to where I'm at today in 2016. And now I have an online supplement company, a non-GMO, non-vegan supplement company with my boyfriend, E2 Lab. He's this massive chemist. And I help people with their online marketing specifically because I'm a businesswoman, right? And it's really time to get down to business. And my last words to you are, don't wait for perfect. Now is the time to step into your own power and go after what you want, whatever that is, and be the leader of yourself and be the leader of your life. I'm Heather Havenwood, and thank you so much for this opportunity.